Hi everyone. Let's talk about first impressions. It's the moment of truth, right? Make a good first impression, and the user can become your app's next superfan. Make a bad first impression, and you might be tossed aside. Now, you might be thinking about the moment when a user opens your app for the first time. But let's take a wider view. Way back in 2005, Procter & Gamble popularized the idea that there are actually two moments of truth. Not just the first time the user experiences the product, but also before, when they select the product from the shelf. It was so important, their CEO at the time created a whole new team just to focus on what they called the first moment of truth. So let's take a look at how you can make a great first impression twice. Here are the top 5 tips to win the moments of truth. P&G described the first moment of truth as the 5 to 7 seconds after a shopper came to a shelf full of products and made their selection. Now I hear you asking, what does this have to do with my app? Well, I would submit that the first moment of truth is just as important today as it was back then. Though instead of happening at a retailer's store shelf, it happens when the user comes to Google Play, right before they make their selection. If you want to get that install, you better win the first moment of truth. Tip number 1, attract users with compelling packaging. On Google Play, that means building out a first-class store listing. And here's how to do it. The 2 most important elements to win the first moment of truth: your icon and your title. Make them unique, but still accessible. With just these 2 assets, the user should recognize your brand in an instant. Video can have a big impact. Show users the actual app experience and get right to the point. The first 5 seconds are everything. Use your screenshots to tell a visual story. Show off your app's core value proposition. How will your app help the user? Prioritize the most important message in your first screenshot. Your short description is actually the most visible, so don't overlook it. It should be able to stand alone, explaining your app in 1 sentence. Your full description can provide additional details for users that need more convincing, but still, keep it concise and easy to scan. Before we move on to tip number 2, here's a few more pro tips. In addition to your app category, you can choose up to 5 tags to help users find your app. Look for this in the Play console to improve your discoverability. Adding translated text and assets to your listing can help you attract a larger global audience. And lastly, don't forget your release notes. These appear prominently when users return to the store listing. Make sure you are giving existing users a reason to update. So now you should be equipped to build a terrific store listing. But I'm guessing some of you are hoping for something more. That secret formula for creating a foolproof store listing? A listing that can help you consistently win the first moment of truth? Well, get ready, because I'm going to share that secret with you in tip number 2, testing and iterating. Sorry if I got your hopes up, but there's no such thing as a fully optimized store listing. It's no secret, even the most advanced developers rely on A/B testing to continuously make improvements and optimizations. The good news is that Google Play can help any developer run their own tests with store listing experiments. You can find this feature right in the Play console, and it's easy to use. I recommend starting with your most important asset, that app icon. But no matter where you start, make sure you only test 1 element at a time. You may be tempted to play it safe, but I'd encourage you not to be shy. You'll learn the most by testing assets with distinct differences. Oh, and let your experiments run for 2 weeks to make sure you capture enough data. If you were thinking 1 experiment is enough, think again. In this example from Rovio, you can see how even after seeing an improvement of 7.2% from their first experiment, they went on to test another set of iterations and were able to get an additional 3.2% lift. Here's another success story. The brain training app Elevate used store listing experiments to test out their screenshots and saw a 13% increase in their store conversion rate. These experiments can really pay off. With these 2 tips, you should be prepared to win the first moment of truth and earn that install. But the journey is only just beginning. Now let's turn our attention to the second moment of truth. The second moment of truth happens when a shopper gets the product home and tries it for the first time. And just like a physical product, the second moment of truth happens when the user installs your app and tries it for the first time. These next 3 tips are designed to help you win the second moment of truth by ensuring users get successfully onboarded and engaged. Tip number 3, get to the core action. But you might be asking, what is the app's core action? Your app's core action is at the heart of your app's value to the user. Completing it once delivers a high-quality engagement and communicates the value proposition. Then, as users complete the core action over and over, they keep having your app's core value reinforced. You'll find that your most loyal users engage with the app's core action more than anyone else. So here are a few examples. Hailing a ride is the core action of a taxi cab app. Completing a workout might be the core action for an exercise app. And liking someone in a dating app is also a core action. Of course, your app's core action might not be as clear. If you don't know what your core action is, that's okay. Try asking your users by looking at your data. Hopper, a travel booking app, saw users that watched a flight were the ones that had the highest retention. So they built that core action into their onboarding. Lead your users directly to your core action, and you're already doing a lot to win the second moment of truth. Now that you know what your core action is, you've got to get your users to it as quickly as possible. You are on the clock. 78% of new users abandon apps after just 3 days. Get them seamlessly to the core action because it's the most effective way to show users your app's core value proposition. Don't get hung up on all the nice-to-know features. Leave that until later. Of course, one caveat. Users are different. Some users come in and they already know what your app is all about. Let those folks skip right to the core action. Others are browsers, and you'll have to do some more convincing first. More than anything, just keep iterating. You can always find more efficiencies in your onboarding. And a successful onboarding is the key to winning the second moment of truth. Pro tip: registration can be a super important tool for apps, but it can also be a big drop-off point. If you haven't yet, take a look at Google One Tap. It lets users on Android sign up and sign in much faster using the Google account they already have. Pinterest saw a 126 increase for signups using One Tap. That's a major improvement. Tip number 4, help make it a habit. Getting a user to incorporate an app into their daily routine is hard. It doesn't just happen. But if you have a strong value proposition, you can design for habitual use and give users a reason to keep returning. When thinking about designing for habitual use, there are 4 elements you should be considering. First, motivation. Your users already have that need inside them. It's what drove them to install your app in the first place. Now it's your job to help them remember that need. Build features into your app that can help them set short and long-term goals. That can go a long way towards making your app part of their daily routine. Action. Make it easy for users to keep coming back to that core action. The more they do it, the more they will experience the value of your app and want to make it a habit. Trigger. We all get busy, and we all lose sight of our initial motivation. Remind users why they want to come back to your app in a way that speaks to their individual needs. And reward. Reward not only provides the payoff, it also drives that itch to come back again and again. The workout app 7 uses a 7-month challenge to motivate and reward users as they go through their core action, completing a 7-minute workout. Wondering how you might make your app a habit? Here are a few thoughts to spark new ideas. The best way to know what motivates the user is to ask. Let the user share their goals and then make sure your experience delivers customization to best serve that particular motivation. Don't give users the opportunity to use your app for the first time and never take part in the core action. Make it quick, easy, and inevitable for the user to complete it. Push notifications make for great triggers, but they can be even more meaningful if you let users set them up on their own. Let these notifications be from the user, a reminder to themselves that triggers their action. Lastly, rewards can be so powerful, and they come in many different forms. Find more milestones that can be celebrated. Use all of the tools at your disposal, from explosive visuals, sound design, animation. The better it feels, the more likely a user is going to want to get that reward again. With these tips, you'll have a good chance of building a really seamless onboarding experience that activates your users and sets them up to understand the value of your app and begin using it habitually. And now the last tip, and it really is the most important of all. You win the second moment of truth by delivering on the promises made in marketing and exceeding the user's expectations. And nothing disrupts those promises more than an app that crashes, freezes, or slows to a crawl. I can't overstate this. Technical performance is make or break. When leaving a 1-star review, 42% of the time, users mention the app's stability and bugs. And conversely, when leaving a 5-star review, 73% of the time the user mentions speed, design, or usability. Do you know what your crash rate is? Do you test your app on high-end phones like the Pixel 6 Pro, as well as lower-end phones that bring Android to the widest range of users? If you're not sure, check out the Android Vitals section of the Play Console. Once you've optimized your performance, you want to get as much feedback as you can. Critical feedback can help identify areas in the app that deserve further attention. Positive feedback acts as social proof and can help you win the first moment of truth with the next user that visits your Play Store listing. So prompt users to give you feedback, read it, and respond to them. Anyone willing to spend the time to fill out a comment is an engaged user. Plus, responding to a negative review can increase that rating by an average of 0.7 points. And lastly, once you've won the second moment of truth, make sure it's easy for them to share with friends and family. No marketing compares to word of mouth, and your satisfied users are your best ambassadors. So let's do a quick review. To help you win the first moment of truth, when a user makes their decision at the store, we recommend you build the strongest store listing you can. And since there is no secret recipe, the only way to keep optimizing is to use store listing experiments to identify those incremental opportunities to increase your store listing conversion. Next, we talked about winning the second moment of truth, the moment when the user actually opens your app for the first time. We talked about identifying your core action, the one that demonstrates your app value and is used over and over again by your most loyal users. Next, use motivation, action, triggers, and rewards to help users integrate your app into a habitual routine. And lastly, and most importantly, invest in your app performance. An app that crashes in a user's first session may never be able to come back from that. If you manage to have your app in tip-top shape, you'll be ready to read and respond to your glowing reviews and help win the first moment of truth with your next store listing visitor. Are you ready to practice? You can do it. All it takes is commitment, focus, and some help from tools provided by Google Play. But before I go, I can't leave until I confess something. There's actually more than 2 moments of truth. Google can tell you all about the 0 moment of truth on Think with Google, and lots of companies have 3rd or 4th moments of truth. But here's the real truth. Any moment your users interact with your product or brand can be a moment of truth. A moment when they'll decide in a matter of seconds whether they become your next superfan or just another churn statistic. Remember that any moment can be a moment of truth. So always strive for excellence and make every moment count. You can do it, and I can't wait to see you succeed. Thanks. For even more tips and interactive courses, make sure to check out Play Academy.